in my pooter so I can see what I'm doing. Go to the overhead. It's a bit dark, so apologies for that. I might switch my other light on. Let's see if I can do that without destroying the place. Hold on. Oh, I'm not sure that made any difference at all. Right, yes, so this is the little red franny that we're going to be making. It's got a purple popper on the front to match this purple here. It's not too bad, but I've put a red stud in underneath. And if you do that, can you see you've got the little purple, the purple middle stud that's been pushed down? And I've done the same for the pocket. I've put the purple popper on that way, the snap fastener, and then I put a red popper, the button if you like, inside the pocket. So I'm going to do it like that so you can see it. So there's no reason why you can't chop and change your snap fasteners like that. So we're going to make the identical one to this. I'm just going to actually pull this camera out just a wee bit, so apologies for that. That's a bit better, a little bit too near. Right, okay, now we're set up, we're good to go, and what we're going to do is we're going to go through the pattern a bit at a time. I shan't be giving measurements because obviously I would like you to buy the pattern and keep supporting me as a small business. I do appreciate it, you know, keeps me going, even though I am semi-retired, I know. So this is the version we're going to make. So let's get all the bits and pieces in. Okay, so obviously this is the pattern. I just move that template out of the way. This is the pattern that you would download, and that's the front cover of it, and it tells you what you would need, approximately what size. So it's just cotton fabric scraps. Now somebody did write an email of complaint the other day to say that if you're a new stitcher, it's no good me saying fabric scraps, okay, because that doesn't mean anything. Well, I think fabric scraps is fine. I think as a terminology, I think we know that dig around, you have the measurements inside the pattern, you have the template, so you know roughly what sizes you need. So I think cotton fabric scraps is fine. G700 stabilizer, and only that goes on to the certain bits we'll go into a second, a snap fastener and a zip. So that's all you need to make franny. So I'm just going to pop that over there and just make sure that I can see it. So there's all our bits and bobs. So there's our zip that's cut to size, and I've already stitched over the end so it's nice and secure. So that's that bit done. Pop it there. Let's try and get in the middle. There's my tabs to go on my zip ends. So that's the next bit that I've already cut out. I've then got the internal lining of the pocket. So if we look at because sometimes it's like, well, which bit is what bit? So in the instructions it says the lining pocket, or the pocket lining, I suppose. And so if I was to open up the zip and we look at it like that, it's the beige spot, and if you look at it from the back, it's the beige spot. So that's the pocket lining. And then this is the outer pocket, this part here. So again, you'll see the fabric here and you'll see it there. Okay, so that's the outer pocket. And then you've got the lining. So what am I calling that? I'm just calling it lining, cut lining, and that's cut into two pieces, and you'll see in a second how that works. Oh, thank you, Wendy. And you've got the outer fabric, which is the main outer fabric, which is this bit here. Okay, so if we were to look at the purse, that's the main outer, or just outer. Okay, so I can put that to one side because I don't need that just yet. I'll just move the template for a sec. So we've got a right old assortment of pieces. The ones that you need to stabilize are the outer, so the outer piece. Okay, you need to stabilize that bit there. And if I were you, if you're not sure and you were not going to remember, I would just write on here the, say, main outer, because it's the main part of the purse and it's the outer. Anything to help you remember. I mean, if you wanted to, you could number it and say that was number 1 or something, just so you know which your bit you're looking at, because all these inners, outers, linings, outers, all you might get confused. So you're going to line the outer, you're going to stabilise the outer, you're going to stabilise your lining, and that comes in 2 parts. You're going to stabilise your outer pocket, so that's this bit. So you can see that's that bit, and I've done it exactly the same, so we can keep an eye on what bits we're doing and that it makes sense, I suppose. But the only pieces that you don't stabilise is the lining of the pocket, or the pocket lining, and the zip tabs. Okay, you don't need to stabilise those 2 pieces if you like. Okay, right, so what we're going to do is follow the pattern. So I'll put these bits to one side, I'll put the purse, I'll just keep the purse in the corner there so you can keep an eye on it. Let's put the popper down. Now the only thing I haven't got handy is my tape, which I should get now, because that really is quite useful. This is the quilter's tape. So following the pattern, let's put all these, I've moved that now, I said I wasn't going to move it and I've moved it, so let's keep it there. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to attach these 2 pieces together, and in the pattern that's how it looks, and we're going to leave a turning gap of about, I think, what have I said? Well, I haven't said, but about 2.5 inches is absolutely fine. So you might want to put a clip in there. You might want to put double pins in there so you know to remember to leave a turning gap. But it's the only bit that you need to remember. So we're going to do that first, and that way we won't forget, basically. So let's swing you over to the side camera. I'm going to hope now that my machine is going to be in view. Let's just try and get rid of the mouse and all the bits and bobs. See, that's not too bad, is it? Not as close as normal, but I think that's okay. So with 1/4 inch seam allowance, we're going to join these together. So let me pop that on to 1/4 inch, and let's start sewing. So I wouldn't bother with a back stitch because we're going to cut all this eventually. So go so far and then back stitch there, because that's the turning gap. Okay, I'm going to just switch on my iron as well, because we need that in a sec. And I'll also plug it in. My iron, and I need to get another one, my iron doesn't ever switch off, which is a little bit frustrating, I have to say, so I have to really keep my eye on it. Right, so we're just going to wriggle along, and I think that'll be fine there. And then start stitching. We'll do a little back stitch because that is the turning gap. We want it nice and strong. Don't worry about back stitch on the end there. Cut your threads. Okay, so this is what it looks like, and there's a picture in the pattern, I'm looking at it now, it's almost identical to that. Don't worry that it's not in the middle. I mean, put it in the middle if you really want to. As long as you've got a decent turning gap, then that's fine. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to press that seam open, because it really makes a super job of when you come to stitch it. So you know, with the seam open. So I'm just going to open that seam up if I can. There we go. Surprising how small a 1/4 inch seam allowance is. And you're just going to open it all the way along. So I'm going to do that side, turn it, hope you can see okay, and then this side. But now, because I've flattened the other side, I can hopefully run my iron along and successfully, hurrah, open all the seam up like that. But we've obviously still got our gap, yeah? And that little gap there goes behind the pocket. So it's a nice concealed turning gap, and it doesn't compromise the edge of your purse. That was something really important to me. Okay, so we'll stay on the side camera. It's always nice and easy. And we're going to do the zip tabs. So let's just get those in shot so you can see. I'll bring my machine in because sometimes the white bed of the machine is useful. So there's our zip. These are our zip tabs. So you're going to put one on the top and one underneath. So your tabs are actually right sides together. And if you cut your zip to the correct length, this should just go over the width of your fabric, and you'll see in a sec. So again, right sides together like that. Okay, and then we're going to stitch a 1/4 inch seam allowance across both ends. And of course I'm going to remove my clip straight away. So keep to your 1/4 inch as best you can. Be careful when you're going over the zip teeth. Gosh, you're all very quiet. There's no comments at all. I'm assuming I'm still live. Oh goodness. Let me just move that because that wriggled off the zip teeth. There we go. Tell me you're engrossed and then I'll be happy. Okay, so there's our zip tabs attached, and obviously you can trim all these threads if you want to, but in actual fact you're going to trim the zip anyway. Yes, paying close attention. Good, excellent, pay attention. So what we're going to do is just pull those zip tabs back, so either side you're just going to pull them back, and then you're going to top stitch. You can just see my stitches there, so I'll take those out later. So you're going to pull them back. You can iron that if you want to, but we're going to top stitch across that end. So let's be good. Let's iron. It does keep things nice and straight. You can just see I ought to use my mat. I do use Frankie all the time as my ironing mat. It hasn't damaged my table, but it's not good practice, is it, to show you guys. So that's one. And what you could do is put a little clip in there just to hold all your layers together, because you don't want that to really go askew. And then on this end, pull it back. Make sure your ends meet so it's nice and neat. And then just iron that. And if you get a little pleat there, don't worry, it means that it's fine. You've got to just make sure that your ends are lined up. It's just helpful. And you can just about see my little bit of stitching there. Can you see the white thread? So at some point I'll take excuse me, I'll take that undone, because all this is secure now, so I could literally unpick it, but I won't now. So we're just going to top stitch across the ends of our zips now, and like I said, you could keep them lined up nicely by putting a clip in or a pin. Where you've only got single layers of fabric, I would use a pin. So let's get that done. Take the clip out now, and you could increase your stitch length now if you wanted to 3 maybe, because you're top stitching. That's wriggled over that zip again. Dawn says it's, look at that. Well, talk about a rubbish bit of stitching. Whew, not really happy with that. Shall we unpick it? Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to lengthen my stitch because that may help not wriggle over the zip teeth. I don't think I could. Having watched Adrienne the other nights or the other day stitching something, I mean, oh, that's right, when she was in Virtual Lala, she's an absolute perfectionist. She's like it in her life generally, and I thought, oh, better get up my game. So I thought, right, in future, I'm not going to be gung-ho. I'm going to keep it really neat. And personally, I don't mind doing a bit of unpicking if that's what it means, if that's what it needs. Let's just pull that out. Yeah, she's super neat. Super neat. Yeah. So, let's just There we are. I'd have been better off just leaving it really. So now I'm fiddling. Can you see? There we go. Get there. Right, let's leave it. Right, I'm going to increase my stitch length to 2.6. So I think that would be better going across my zip end. Let's try. Oh yes, much better. Oh dear. Okay. And we'll do the other end. And you can do this any distance away. You know, you can decide for yourself. You go really, really close up, or you can do it about 1/8 of an inch. So now what we're going to do is just trim that zip. Now, if you wanted to, you could put your rotary cutter and a ruler against the side of your zip tape there, just to make sure it's straight and you haven't sort of gone off at an angle. But I think we're okay with that, aren't we? So just follow the line of your zip basically, and all should be well. It's a little bit wonky, but it's always the way when you do things live. It's never ever as neat as what you can, well, unless you're Adrian, it's never as neat as what you can do when you're on your own. Right, so there we are. Let's just trim those threads away. So that's our zip made. We've now got to put it into our pockets. Now this is the interesting bit. So this is where you need, where's my mouse? We need to have a little concentrate here. Let's just move you. Okay, so we need both pockets. So you need your lining pocket, and you need, or pocket lining, and you need your pocket outer. Okay, it doesn't matter which one you put on first. Let's do the lining first. Really doesn't matter. Now it really helps now to use quilter's tape. You don't have to if you haven't got any. This is not vital, but it's just useful. Let's find the end. Here comes Millie. Right, so what you need to do, you can either put your tape on your zip, or you can put across, see where I've folded this in half and I've pressed that, so I've got a lovely crease line there, and the edge of your zipper tape goes up to that crease line. Okay, oh, it's raining. Blow me, just talking about the weather. So what you need to do is to put, this has got sticky on it. Let's see if I can get the other piece, just a sec. Yeah, that's okay. So you need to put the tape along the crease of the fabric, okay? So don't forget, you folded your fabric right sides together. You've made a crease. You can finger press if you want. I think from memory I put this under the iron. And that's where you're going to stick the tape, of the zipper tape, okay? So all you're going to do now is to pull that tape off. Gosh, it's absolutely pouring down. And you're just going to line up your zip to the fold. So can you just about see? Let's just move it like that. See where the crease is, and my zipper tape. Sorry, my quilter's tape is going along there, and that's where the sticky is. You could use EPP glue. So all you're going to do is line up your zipper. Gosh, I don't know if you can hear that. So it's right in the centre, and you're just going to stick your zip tape along that edge, like that. Okay. So that zip is now stuck in place, okay, and it's along that fold. So all we're going to do is fold that over, and what you could do is put a pin in so it holds it exactly in half, and your fold line now is right in the centre of that piece of fabric. So let me just adjust that slightly. Wow, skies have gone really dark. Okay, so you haven't put tape on the other side of the fold. It's not sticking on the top here, it's only sticking on the bottom of the zip. So what we're going to do now is put our zipper foot on. Let's just go on the side camera. The rain sounds like my sewing machine. Yeah, well, you see I've got like skylights, so it tends to really, you know, you can really hear it. So I'll just take my zipper foot out. Oops, there we go. And we need the zipper to go on the left-hand side of my machine. So let's put it like that. So I've grabbed it on the left-hand side. I don't know if you can see that. Gosh. I hope nobody was out walking tonight. That was lovely sunshine half an hour ago. Okay, and then we're just going to stitch our zip in place. Now, I go by the width of my zipper foot and line it up to the fold of the fabric. But if you stitch 1/4 of an inch, you'll be fine. Or, yes, it is a new machine, Patricia. 1/4 inch is fine, or 3/8 is better, okay? So let's just pop it under the machine. And, hold on a sec, let's put it on regular. Nearly broke my needle. And we're just going to stitch. Now look, we got that zip slider just there, so we'll go so far and then we'll move that zip slider out of the way. Now the zip is attached, we've glued it, so it's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so I'm quite happy with where it's positioned. I'm quite happy following the width of my zipper foot all the way along. You can see beautifully. I'll do a little bit more. I'd have preferred if that folds over a bit more, but never mind. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to lift my foot up. I'm just going to get in between the layers, and I'm going to move that zip all the way along to the other side. Now, to make it easier, so we don't go past all this gubbins here, yeah, I'm just going to turn my work, and that will slide a lot better past that foot, she says. I'm going to lift the needle. There we are. That didn't work. I think I was really too close. So let's just pop the foot down again. That's it. Line it all up again. Make it really nice and smooth. That's only a little bit bulky there because of the zip slider. So carry on all the way down. No need to backstitch, and then cut our threads. Huh? Oh dear. Okay, so there we are. So that means our zip is now beautifully installed, lovely and neat. Okay, you can see it there, and you've got the lining the same both sides. Now we want to top stitch that, but I'm going to do the other side, and then we'll press, make the this seam here really nice and neat, and then we will top stitch. Okay, so we're just going to repeat what we did a moment ago with the zipper tape. So here's the outer pocket. Oops, let's get hold of it. Okay, it's gorgeous fabric, isn't it? It's Tilda. So it's right sides together, guys, and a beautiful crease as best you can along the centre. And then you can see how that crease looks. And all I'm going to do is run my tape along the edge of the crease, and it's on the it's on this side. I don't suppose it really matters because it'll either go on the bottom part of the zip tape or the top, so it doesn't really matter as long as the zip is in place. But you don't have to use quilter's tape, but by golly, it's really quite useful for this method because you've hidden the zip from view. Okay, so now we're just going to peel that tape away. Oh, Millie's on a duvet. Wish I could swing the camera around. She's really cosy up the corner. She's got a proper duvet in the corner. Okay, so again we're going to place our zipper tape on top of our glue. You can just see the glue there, hopefully, yeah. And again I'm going to line it up. So I'm going to match it with that end and glue it down. and make sure it's nice and straight, like that. Okay, so that's all lovely and glued down. There we go. I could do moving over a bit. And then all we're going to do is fold that over, and we're going to machine from there all the way down. So it seems quite complicated. It's not. It's just remembering what you're gluing, how you're gluing, and you're always gluing so it's going to be right sides together. And so you're encasing the zip. So when you stitch, it encases the zip like that. Okay? So it's one of those things that you've got to sort of do and get your head around, and once you've done it once, you'll be well away. It's just a different way of doing things, which is really sometimes quite a nice thing to do, isn't it? So just make sure all your pockets are lined up, so when you look at it, all your layers are sitting as neat as they can be on top of each other. Don't worry about what you're looking at and thinking, is that going to work? Yes, it will work. Trust me. Right, okay, so let's make our way along. Again, make sure that our layers are sitting together. You can feel the zip, trust the process. Use your zipper foot as your guide. You can see that my zipper foot is going across, and there's the fold there, so it's going the whole width up to the fold. My slider is just here, so let's get as far as we can go. I'll see if this time I can wriggle it without moving my needle. So I've just gone inside, look, and I'm just getting hold of the zipper slider. Ah, no, I'm going to have to take the needle up. That's it. It's one of those things. Okay, so put the foot down, line up your needle again. You don't want a little bit where it's a little bit, you know, jaggedy, uneven. Just make sure everything's lined up again, and off you go, right up to the end. Just trust the process. Your zipper foot won't hop over the teeth, I promise. It'll follow the edge of the teeth. That's what it's been built for. So there we are. So there's the other side. So let's see what that looks like on the other angle. So bear with. Push that away. So when we open this up, you've got, if I can get hold of it all, there we go. You've got the perfect zip. We just need to press it and we need to top stitch it. Okay, so let's get the ironing mat up and bring the iron in. Just be careful of temperatures, and if you want to, you could pin this so your edges stay on top of each other. Yeah, so you could start off there, and as long as you've got hold of the back and front, you should be okay. And we'll do the same with the other side. Let's do it like that. Just pull it away. And then if you feel you need to get that fabric away from the teeth a bit more, just pull it away, because you don't want your zip slider catching on your fabric. So just push that away. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's have a look at the other side. So that needs pushing away. And that needs pushing away. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm pulling the lining so it's out of the way of the zip slider. Let's move that out of the way. Okay, and then this end as well, just make sure it's away from the zip slider, because you don't want that to catch. It's very annoying when that catches. Now that looks a lot better. Happy with that. Okay, so we're going to pop it under the machine and we're going to top stitch. Before we do that, we'll just snip off the ends of the zip. It doesn't really matter, it just keeps everything looking neat and tidy. There we go. Good. So we're going to put it under and top stitch, and then we're just going to fold it over, ready for putting into the main part of the actual little purse. So let's just changed the view for you. Now I'm keeping my foot on, but this time I'm going to move it over to the right. There we go. And I'm just going to top stitch. So again, you want to increase the stitch length. I mean, you could go up to 3 because it's just a top stitch. So all the way along as best you can. Try and keep it nice and neat. Don't forget, if you do lengthen your stitch, you will machine more quickly. So just try and not let it run away with you. And I'm just going to move that zip slider out of the way again. Doesn't want to play with me tonight, does it? Let's try and do it that way. Nope. Come on. I think I should have moved it before I got quite near. That's it. Goodness gracious, what a task. Okay, right to the end. And we'll just go across the top of the zip there. There we go. And then just come down the other side. So this time I'm going to move it out of the way. Still, I think it's the, because it's a new machine, I'm not used to this big needle thing sticking out the way there. It's quite a big thing actually. I think I'm used to my industrial, which is, everything is so neat and compact. Okay. There we are. Oh, Helena says it's beautiful and sunny where she is in Canada. There we go. So there's our top stitching done. And then all we're going to do is fold that in half. We can close that zip up if we wanted to now. And that's the front. Okay, looks lovely and neat, doesn't it? We're going to change that foot back again to the regular foot. Just pop that under there. Good. Right, so let's have a look at all the other components that we're now going to put together. Let's go on the other angle. Good. Okay, so we need to, as I said, fold the pocket in half. You want to try and make sure that all of your layers are sitting in half and your zip tabs are folded in half as well. Okay, so it should look something like that. If your bottom edges and sides aren't quite right, as long as you've got most of it lined on top of each other, you can just see a little bit here. I shouldn't worry about that, but this is where you really need it to look fairly neat. Okay, so bring in your lining. So this is the lining where you've got your turning gap, and you're going to pop that on the top, and you're going to line up the bottom edge. So do that as best you can and put a clip in. Oh, upside down. Let's put that on and line this up as well here. So make sure that's, see, that's not quite right, so let's just move it down a wee bit. Get it as best we can. We're going to cut it so it doesn't matter too much, but it's nice to get it as neat as you can. Let's bring it down, bring that down like that. That looks much better. Oops. Clip it. And what we're going to do is we're just going to baste down there just to hold it in place. I mean, to be honest, just do a little bit or a little bit here just to hold it in place, and that way everything stays exactly where you want it to be, because we're actually nearly finished, would you believe? We're just, you know, stitch it together and popper it and we're done. So I'm just going to do a little bit of basting along here, and don't forget you've got that flat seam. So let's just do a little bit of basting. So it's holding that together. So let's cut it. Just going to flip it. So you're just literally just holding the edges together. No more than that. So that's all you need to do. And that's held all the layers together now. Okay, so the next part is we now put our main piece. So if we look at the purse, so that's what we've got so far. Let me just show you. That's what we've got. Zipper going along here. This zipper goes the other way. It doesn't really matter unless it's something that you're really concerned about. Now you just got to remember which end you want your zip closure to be, either that end or that end. It makes no difference really. Well, it might do to you. So that's what we've created so far. So now what we're going to do is to put right sides together with our outer piece, okay? So we just literally lay that over the top. And just make sure that everything is covered. So just line it up. And we're just going to put a pin in top and bottom. There we go. Oops. Just make sure you've got all the layers secure. And that one, make sure it's flat. Okay. And then we need a pen. Excuse me while I lean over. And this is where you need your template, okay? Template's in the pattern. What you must try and do is to get that zip halfway, okay? So you want to have a little look. I mean, to be honest, it should sit exactly in the middle of your paper. So I'm happy with it there. So lay your template over the top and literally draw round. And this is actually going to be your stitching line, okay? So this is where, if you wanted to, you could, oh, I'm going off a bit here, you could make it a little bit bigger if you want. Even with the size of fabrics that I've given you, you could make it a wee bit bigger. So just hold it in place. You might want to put some 505 on the back of the pattern, the template, just to hold it. But you're literally just drawing round. Just make sure your zip slider is way out of the way. So I need to move mine because I can feel it. And you're using that template to draw your shape. So you are not adding a seam allowance. You're just literally going to stitch around that line, okay? So let's put it under the machine. There we go, lovely. So start anywhere. If you did increase your stitch, take it down to 2.4 because we've got curves. So 2.4, 2.2, and then you're literally following that line around. You could put, obviously you could put more pins in. It depends how comfortable you are with the layers. Careful over the zip and all the layers you've got there. When you come to the seam, make sure it's still laying flat. That seam is actually, you can see it, look. So just make sure that's still flat. Come all the way around. Just take your time. Don't forget we're working with curves, so little stitches are good. So just make sure everything is sitting still and flat. Keep checking to make sure. Just take your time over those, all that zip, the layers. You could use a walking foot actually, but you've only, you know, if you've stitched all your layers down like I did before, you should be fine. And then just go over the stitches that you've just started with. No, the zip doesn't need to be open, Sue. No. Definitely not. Oh, it's got caught somewhere. Let's try that again. Oh, crikey. Right. New machines, you know what you're doing with them? No, not at all. Okay, so that's what we've just stitched. So nice, good quality pair of scissors now, because you're going through lots of layers. and you're literally just cutting all the way around. Now, if your pinking shears will go through the layers, then use your pinking shears. If not, cut about 1/8 of an inch away from your seam, your stitching line, and just trim all the way around. So like I say, you could make this probably a good 1/4 inch bigger all the way around if you wanted to, and just use the line rather than you stitching on the line, stitch 1/4 inch away because you've got enough fabric. Okay, so that's what you've got, and then if you've got time, I haven't, so but I'll just show you. Just go into your, it's all, I mean it's like an egg, so go all the way around and put some little cuts in, just snip in, just to make sure that fabric lays nicely inside. There we go. So you know what you're going to do. Like I say, if your pinking shears will neaten that and cut into it, then please use that, but you'll probably find that it won't go over this bulk here, but it will go over everything else. Okay, so we've got this fantastic turning gap here, so we're going to turn through, and I would grab the furthest point and pull that through first. And like everything else that we make, we've pressed it within 1 inch of its life, and now all that good work is being undone. That's just the way things go, isn't it? It's how we rock in the sewing world. Okay, so just take your time. You've done all those back stitches on that seam there, so try not to rip them. I did do that the other day when I was making Charlie. I was very disappointed with myself. Okay, so ideally you're going to have it, I mean, and this doesn't really matter. You'll see in a minute, you'll think, oh gosh, she's got it the wrong way around. Oh no, it's an epic fail. You're wrong. So just get your pokey tool or something and just push those curves out. It's because this is your last opportunity to do that. Just push those out. And it doesn't matter too much about this bottom bit, but you'll get it so it looks like that. Well, we know that's wrong. We know that actually it's that side we want on the outside, but actually it's absolutely right for this bit, because if I was to do this, hey presto, we have the same, yeah? And that's where I've stitched it. And because it's sitting behind the pocket, we can't see it. Look at that, beautiful. And none of these edges have been compromised. I suspect I shall see lots of this technique being done now. Right, so let me find a needle. And you want a nice, you don't want a great big thick heavy needle. And I'm going to, I don't need my thread anymore. I've got this pink. I know I had pink in the bobbin, I do apologise. And we're just going to do a ladder stitch to close that gap. So can you see how that works now? Fantastic, isn't it? Ah, Kirsty said, thank you, the folded part was confusing me totally. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where if the pattern is, excuse me, the pattern is fine, but sometimes we need to see it being made to understand the sense of it. I totally get that. I'm saying. Now if you hear any funny noises, it's Millie licking her paws. Okay, so you're going into the fold, so the knot is now in that fold, and you can see now why we pressed that. So you're just going across to the other side. We'll do big stitches so we can get it done. Through the fold and across to the other side and through the fold. That one has come undone a little bit, but that's okay. Across to the other side, through the fold. Now ideally you're going to do smaller stitches and you're going to use a finer needle. This is a bit like stitching with wood. It's a bit thick. You want a nice fine needle. So you're going between the layers Sorry, Millie's making a lot of noise. It's her licking her foot, as dogs do. It isn't any other part of her body, in case you're wondering. It is her foot. Tibetans do a lot of that, licking of feet. I belong to a Tibetan Terrier Facebook group, and they all complain of the same issues all the time. Scratching of ears and licking of feet. I'm sure other dogs do the same, but just so happens all in this Tibetan Terrier group. That's all they talk about. Well, Millie does have to have an anti-allergy injection every month because she really gets bad, and it doesn't matter how much you bath her or, you know, all the rest of it, she still gets all the itching, as they do. So then, because it's a ladder stitch, we can just pull that up. Now do be careful, if you've used a single stitch like me, a single thread like me, please be careful. You might want to get so far and pull it up and do little bits of it rather than a great big bit. If you've used stronger thread, then just, you know, you can pull it about and it'll be fine. A couple of little stitches on the end. I mean, to be honest, it's not going to be seen really because it's behind the pocket, but try and keep it as neat as you can. Okay, so we know now that if you see that, that's perfectly fine, and you'll think, oh my goodness me, I've done this wrong, I've got to undo it. No, you just got to turn it through. And the same theory applies with my one-piece purse, because lots of people have talked to me about the fact that their lining is showing and what they've done wrong. Well, nothing, just turn the pocket through again. Excuse me. Okay, I'm going to give that a quick iron so it looks nice, and then we'll put the snap fastener in. So let's get my iron up. So again, I hope you've all had a good day. And has anybody done anything exciting today on, well, it's either Memorial Day if you're across the pond, or it's Bank Holiday. Do you get the day off for Memorial Day? Do you have like parades, that sort of thing? Do you have picnics? I suppose it depends on the weather, like us. Is there anything special that you do being across the pond? For us as a bank holiday, it's sometimes like, oh, thank goodness. Plus it's half term from school, isn't it? But, well, here in the southeast. Okay, so just make sure, work on that curve. If your stitches are small enough and you've clipped in, you should get a perfect curve, okay? Really? Stop licking, there's a go. Get these snorting sounds coming up. So you can just see what I'm doing, can't you? As I say all the time, just be careful when you're pressing near the zip. They should be fine, but we don't want to do any damage after all that effort of putting a zip in. And don't be afraid of putting zips in, please. Just, you know, trust the process. Trust me that what I've said to you will work. Okay, so let's put the stud in. Let's go on the overhead. Oh, Jackie's going on another cruise. Oh dear, go off people, can't you? Sue says she's been pottering in her greenhouse. Chris says it makes sense seeing how you've sewn it, Lizzie. Great, that's what we like to hear. Now, the other thing is preference of where you want to put your popper, okay? It's preference. You could take it right up, like that. You've got a little gap there, so assuming you haven't got any change or anything that's going to fall out, that would be fine. So I would say go with how you feel about it. So let's have a look at the one we've done. The other one that I made, the blue one, is actually in my handbag and it's in there all the time. So look, that's lower than that, so I could bring it down or I could take it up. Quite like it a little bit higher. Let's do it. Millie, do stop licking. Sorry about the pig-like noises. So you want to find the centre, okay? So I'm going to put a little mark there where I fancied having the edge of the purse. So it's just there. So literally fold it in half. You can measure it, of course you can, but this is by far the quickest way of finding the centre. So there we are, there. Good, get all those bits and bobs out the way. And always do the front one first. So we're doing that one first. So flip it over. I use, this used to belong to a Sizzix machine. It's an embossing mat, it's perfect. And I'm just literally going to punch a hole through. This is called a screw punch. You'll find them on my Amazon shop. Okay, so we'll choose some poppers. I don't particularly want to go red, that's boring, isn't it? So I had mauve before. I do quite like the mauve. I've got a different coloured mauve. I just brought that in because I thought that would be a good... yeah, that's a bit too blue, isn't it? I could go beige. Let's have a look. Beige, a bit bright, isn't it? I'm going to have to go with what I had before, I think. I could go black. Nah, let's not use black. I haven't got any other colours. I've got this. I've got a few in here, but no, nothing that I can see. Anyway, we'll stick with the purple and the red just as we did before. So I need. Let's have a look. I need a button for the front, which is that one. So we'll put that there. I need the popper bit, the sticky out bit on this side, and it's the red. So let's find some reds. I need the sticky out bit. No, it's never the ones you pick out, is it? So I always grab loads. Oh look, there's a sticky out bit. And then on this part we need the bit that goes in, and then we need a back to that one. It's a red back. So perhaps a little complicated, but you know, I'm living life on the edge with me poppers today. I know I've mixed them up. I'll sort it out later. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Nicola. Okay, so we need the tool. Now I have got a green machine, which is, and it's unfortunate for me, I've mixed up my 10mm and my 12mm snaps. Otherwise I would be using my green machine. So we're going to put the mauve on the front. Let's check, let's do it the same. The mauve on the front and the red on the back. And you should be able to push that down and that should stay there. As long as there's not too much wadding and padding, that should stay there, which gives you time to get your machine in, your punch, your green machine. And I'm going to have to stand up, guys. I think Millie's gone down. She's licked herself to death here. And just give it a squidge. There we go. And you can see that's flattened it, and you've got that. You've got the purple coming through. I quite like that. Okay, so we need to do the one in the pocket. So we need to undo the zip. And I have a simple way of marking this. Well, first of all, I've got my mark here. But what you can do is bring your flap over and give it a push. Well, it's quite high up actually, but it's quite different to that, look. That's okay. Give it a push and that should mark the fabric, and it's just there. You might not, well, I know you won't be able to see it, but it'll indent. It's kind of like you're embossing your fabric. So it's just there. Again, we're going to pop the silicone mat inside to protect everything. Get my punch. So don't forget, it's called a screw punch, and they're in my shop. So on the back we're going to put the button. Okay, so you're going inside the pocket, guys. You're not going in there. You're going inside. Okay, you don't want to put your pocket together. That would be disastrous, darling. And then just squeeze that on, and that should stay there now. Get your machine, whatever you're using, your gadget, your tool. Again, I'll have to stand up. Give it a squidge. Should be hard enough. If it's not, if you haven't flattened it completely, you can put it back in and give it another squidge. and it's fine. Okay, so that is our purse done, and it's almost identical to that one. that one's higher up. Doesn't really matter, does it? But works just the same. There we go. So that is your Franny made. So there must be bits on that you wasn't quite sure how to manage things. You know, the folding, which bit am I folding, where am I folding it, how am I putting the zip in, that doesn't make any sense. Oh, it's a mystery. How do I fold it out, especially when I've got that lining pocket showing? Well, that's actually exactly how you need it. So we've ended up with 2. Yeah, so what I shall do is I shall give one of these away. So if you want a red Franny, just say red Franny in the comments, and I'll put your name on a spinner wheel thingy and I'll give you the results tomorrow. Anyway, it's a lovely little make. I'm really pleased with Franny. It's just a lovely pattern. It's very useful. If you made it a wee bit bigger, your notes would sit better in there. I must admit my notes are fine. The £20 note just sticks up a wee bit from that, but when you fold it over, it's fine. Depends how many £20 notes you've got, I suppose. But as I say, you could make it a little bit bigger than how I've got it in the pattern. It's up to you, isn't it? You could make it into an actual full-size over-the-shoulder bag if you wanted to, a big clutch bag, by enlarging the pattern. So there's lots of potential actually with this little pattern of Franny. So there we are. So I hope you enjoyed that. Hope that was okay for you. Yeah, and so just as a what's the word? What do they say? As a disclaimer, it's only on Facebook, because I should put this video on to YouTube, so it's only the Facebook ladies now, as I'm live on Monday at 8 o'clock, that can win the little purse by saying red Franny, or Franny red, or red Franny, one of those. So I'm sorry, YouTube people, I can't stream to YouTube live anymore on my setup at the moment, so apologies for that. It's just how it is with the software. Right, thank you very much for joining me this evening, and congratulations to Louise for winning the red quilt. We made a red Franny and we have a red quilt as a giveaway. So for the next 2 weeks there won't be a live, because I should be sailing. No, I won't be sailing. I should be driving around the UK in my little moho, and I'm going to be making bunting. I'm taking my featherweight with me, which sits on the top of my units up here. I'm taking my featherweight, and me and my featherweight are going to be stitching up some bunting, which I'm really looking forward to, just having that time off. Good. Okay then, well, thank you very much for watching. I'll leave you to it now. We did that in an hour, didn't we? The draw took about 11-12 minutes, so we're well in time. Thanks very much for watching. I think while I'm away, Kath might be doing something on this page, so look out for that. And as you know, Kath is very much into a hand-dyed yarn. She won't be knitting on here, but she might be doing a project that will involve knitting and stitching, or just stitching, who knows. I've left her in charge, so goodness knows what she'll get up to. Right, okay, thank you ever so much for watching, everybody. Thank you very much for taking part. Thank you very much for your donations. I'm really proud as punch of all of you that have donated, and those lovely children at the hospice are going to get some really lovely things, I'm sure, with the money that you've raised. And the last quilt of all, whatever that might be, I will take to the hospice, which is just about 10 miles from me, at Milton and hand that over, and I'll try to do a little bit of a Facebook live while I'm there, or at least video some of it so we can see a little handover. That would be super, won't it? And I think that would be a nice thing to do. Right, okay, thanks everybody. I'll see you all again soon. Have a super duper week. I don't think I'll be live anywhere until about a fortnight's time, but I'm sure you'll get over the fact that you won't see me. Bye everybody, night night.